enthusiasm. I've got a job for you if you're looking to keep busy. Here are the details.
Ow! What's going on? What's going on? Soul Voices. What's up? What's up? What's up, DK? How are you?
I'm ready for this show.
You ready for the show? This is your first Soul Voices, right? This is your first Soul Voices.
Yes, right? It is. Yes, it is.
Awesome.
Been waiting for 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks, yeah. What have you thought about the show so far? I know it's a new show. We branched off a little bit differently to something. What do you think about the format? All that stuff.
This format actually works out really well. It's nice to get the community to just come in, hang out, talk to us in one-on-one. They can put in their perspective and we just have lively conversations. I like the fact that we're pulling from the community for these conversations. I think that's the fun part and best part of it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm actually happy about it because when I talked to Fast Card about it, I said, one of the things I think would be great about this is that we're on at a totally different, time frame. Normally we're either on at what would be for our time. You and I are in Central Time, so normally it's 12 o'clock here for us. Normally we're on at 7 p.m. in the evening on Sunday, and then when we do it on Thursdays, it's 9 p.m. And so there's a lot of people who watch us, but they watch the reruns on YouTube, and they don't get the opportunity to interact with us either through chat or through, coming into Discord. And so I think like last week and week before, there were several people who popped in and was like, oh my God, you guys are on at a time where I can watch you, and that was so cool to see, in the chat. So I was excited that people are excited that we are here in the daytime. And like you said, we always have fun when we interact with the community, and so community, we don't want you to be shy. If you're in the chat right now, give us a shout out. Let us know that you're there. I see Star Jump is here. And Pops? Also Pops is here.
How you doing,
There's
guys?
a couple of our very faithful supporters who are here today with us. And then we've got like a lot of stuff to cover. For those of you who've never been here before for this particular show, Soul Voices, as we mentioned, it's more of a community focused show. In fact, all of the shows that we do on YouTube are more focused. New Soul, shout out to New Soul.
Hey, New Soul, how you doing?
And what we do is we, unlike our Sunday show where we do something that's more topical, and then when we do our Thursday show, we kind of have like a roundtable format of talking about whatever the latest is in Star Citizen, like ISC, things that are posted on the website. But this show focuses more on what the community is saying on the locations of Spectrum, on Reddit, and then we also will cover maybe some industry stuff. So this week, we're not doing anything industry because we've got 3 questions that I know that are going to kind of dominate our time. And then we've got special guests today, right?
Yeah, that's right. I believe the Player Haters are coming in today, aren't they?
No, come on, DK. That's what happens when you live on the north side. The player haters. It's not the player haters. Come west from me, come south. How do we say it? The player haters. The player haters. The player haters. See, I used to live up north.
That's what happens
DK.
in there for the north side.
I know, that's what happens, right? I know. I used to live up there, so I get it. But yeah, so we do have the special guest, the player haters, are going to drop in a little bit later. Errol Mack, EMC, thank you, man.
Hey.
Good to see you. R33,
Yes.
good to see you also as well. Thank you all so much for dropping in on a Saturday and spending some time with us. Let's see. It's been an interesting week. Have you been doing 317 at all?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Been enjoying it. It's actually a lot more stable than the last previous patches.
I heard this patch is way better and getting closer to going live now, probably, right? It's way from what I heard. Okay.
And let me tell you what, those frame rates, wow, they've been getting good. Yeah.
That's good to hear.
Thank you, CIG, for that. That starting the intro into Gen 12. This is it's really, really paying off now.
Yep.
It really is.
Yep. I noticed the definite performance difference. I know some people have said they've seen a little bit of increase in frame rates, but for me, it was just general performance. The game felt better. Also, I'm sure you probably saw that there was almost like a graphics lighting pass that they did. Things look different in the game. If you've been away for a little bit and you come in, it's like, wow, you could tell visually that they've tightened up some things and made some things really, really nice. So I'm excited. I didn't download the patch that came out yesterday because I was trying to get ready for today's show and tomorrow's show, but hopefully this weekend I'll get a chance to download it. If nothing else, maybe they'll launch it next week and everybody will get to enjoy it in live. And if that's the case, we'll probably do a show on update 317 next week. But if not, we've got a special show next week that we'll talk about when we get to the end of the show today.
Absolutely.
So let's go ahead and jump into it. We've got some folks that are hanging out with us. Again, thank you guys for being here. As you guys know, this show is intended for the community to come in and talk with us. So we're going to bring up a topic, and then we're going to open up the microphone to allow you to come in and share your thoughts on whatever it is. We only do one person at a time. Thursday, we bring like 8-9 people in. But on this show, we just bring one person at a time. So you get to have us all to yourself.
That's right.
So yeah, if you want to talk to DK, you want to talk to me, you want to share your thoughts or questions about the topics that we're covering, then that's what we'll do. And then after that, we're gonna get our special guests in. So let's start off with our very first question that we've got, DK. This one I pulled from the Spectrum, and they've got different categories in Spectrum, and one of them is called concerns, right? And so the first question that came out of the concerns segment, and the title of this was, "What's up with claiming and respawning in this game. Okay. And they admit at the beginning of their thing, they say, this is a rant. All right. And this was a comment that was in there that said, ships claiming and spawning. It says, I was excited to spend some hours in Star Citizen whilst having Eastern holy days. God, that was a wrong decision. What's up with ship claiming, spawning in this game? It all started after dying, claiming the ship didn't work. You got a message saying your claim is currently cannot be processed. And then it said, okay, no problem. Let's exchange the ship, which might be in a buggy state. Then he gets another ship fresh from the store. It's accessible from the Moby Glass. The workaround seems to be fine. Then he says he went to Orison's ship terminal, spawned the ship, entered the elevator, rode it to the hangar. What's there? Nothing. The ship spawned somewhere behind the roof, not accessible for me. No problem. I try again, claim the ship, spawn, go to the hangar, again the same, but this time the ship spawned below the ground. Are you effing kidding me? Can this basics be up and running in 2022? 4 days of not being able to leave Orison. Then he says 404 quality control. Being an alpha is no excuse for this. Don't even bother me with this argument. My forecasts about this game became very negative. And then he says, for sure, I reported it to the issue council in 316.1. So let's go ahead and focus in on this question. What's up with ship claiming spawning in the game? I'll let you open this up. Any part of that you want to respond to? Maybe if you've had some experiences like that, whatever you want to share.
Well, let me tell you this. I've had issues with ship claiming and not happening. And maybe they spawn and they're not there, just a marker. Or, maybe they spawn upside down. Or maybe they spawn under, like you said, under the ground. Maybe I'll spawn it and it shows up in the station up in the, above where I'm at.
Right.
Who knows? I've seen it all. And you know what I do then? Character reset. I know it sucks, but the thing about it is I'm not going to lose my money. I'm not going to lose my progress or my reputation. I'm not going to lose the things that I bought in game. But it's going to freshly renew my character and respawn it. I've had it happen many times. Character reset for me worked the best. I get it. I understand. It's frustrating.
Yes.
Incredibly frustrating.
Yes.
Don't argue with the alpha. Facts, dude. I'm sorry. Facts. It's written all over the website.
Did somebody say don't argue with the alpha? Oh my God. Oh my God.
It was just like, I think somebody was just like, if it's not, what do you want me to call it then?
Yeah.
You don't want me to say it's an alpha, so what do you want me to call it? Really, tell me. I'm actually asking the question. I want to know what you want me to call it.
Let me play devil's advocate, because the person says, don't even bother telling me that's an excuse in the argument. And I've said this before. I think that one of my concerns about the game is that the more the game gets closer to a complete game, the more people will not think of it as an alpha, or because of the way it plays, they feel, well, this isn't an alpha. It's way, this is what maybe I don't want to say it's a beta, but they think it's further along. Do you think that that's still the issue? I know we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Is this still an issue that community people don't really understand what alpha means, because we've been using these terms like early access, beta, blah, 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 blah. I mean, it's because alpha says bug city. I mean, that's what it says. It says bug city. It doesn't say this is, you may luck up, you know what I mean, for lack of a better way of putting it, right? And have a session where everything goes well, right? And you walk away feeling like, hey, this game is awesome, right? Then you get those days where everything you do is just like, you know what, let me turn this thing off, I'll come back. You know what I mean? Is that possibly what this person is suffering, that they don't get it, or this whole alpha thing, because they're the ones who bring up the alpha aspect?
Yes, and I agree. I think that's part of it, because we are getting to that point. Like when I first started back in 2019, I've only been in this game for about 3 years, but I knew what I was getting into way before that, and I've dealt with development. I've actually used to work in a development company for a while, software development, and I know the process of how it works and what goes on. But I think we're getting to this age now where we have a lot of media, whether it be professional media, magazines, websites, whatnot, and then social media, such as YouTube and whatnot. There's a lot more people now interested in the game. I've actually seen over the past couple months a lot more content creators going into Star Citizen or going back into Star Citizen, and there's a level of understanding that hadn't been met yet regarding the idea of an alpha project versus an early access project. I think we're now seeing people that are coming in and saying early access because they hear it on Steam, they hear it on GOG or whatever other gaming platforms that are out there, and I think that there's more and more people that are coming in that don't hear that part and they only hear the game part. And that kind of leaves them in the state of, well, I'm playing the game, so it's got to be, it has to be in a good state, because who would want to play the game if it's not in a good state? We can't say it's alpha, because then they'll say, well, it's been an alpha for 10 years. Actually, it's been developing for 10 years. It's in, the alpha state. I think that's part of it. I think we're kind of seeing that separation now where people are coming in that don't understand the project, because so many creators are out there making content about the game, and a lot of them unfortunately are not discussing the fact that the project is not developed, is not finished. They're just playing it. And I think that leaves people to have a misconception about what is actually happening, and get very frustrated, like this gentleman did here. Get very, very, very frustrated, or I'm not exactly sure. And I understand. I get it. I completely get it. But I think we're at this point now where I think more discussion needs to be had about the state of the project and what's going on and how it's developing, and not to give people this this miscommunication or misunderstanding of what this game is going to be.
Okay, I'm gonna bounce devil's advocate again. There are these phrases that us, I won't say us, that what some people might consider white knights will say, right? It's in alpha. It's ready when it's ready. There's all these different things that we tell people, and their counter might be, well, this game it's been 8 to 10 years. They've been working on this thing. There's some things that just should be working. I should be able to at least go to the elevator and there's no black hole there, right? I should be able to just it was working the last 3 patches. Why is it today I can't even get to my ship? In fact, for those of you who did 3.17, we got to throw back to the old days of a bad patch. We've been having good patches recently, and this one, you logged in. If you made it to the spaceport, when you got there, there were no elevators, so you couldn't go to your ships, right? You couldn't get to your ship. And the first patch, I could. Then they put out the next 3 patches, and it was like, forget it. I couldn't even get to so I can't even quote unquote play. I can't quote unquote test, even though that is a form of testing, right? So is it unreasonable? And is it unreasonable to say, well, yeah, it's been 8 years, 7 years, 9 years, and we should at least be able to get to our ship, at least be able to go through the elevator door. I should at least not have to worry about falling out and dying and bleeding out when I'm walking down the stairs. Is that an unreasonable request? Or is it a fact that we understand it, but it's just the way it is? Because I understand frustration. I do. I'm not trying to dismiss frustration. I think we all get frustrated. But I
think everybody has the right to be upset about something. It's everyone has their own perspective of how things are, they believe, supposed to be, versus what it actually is.
Okay.
It's understandable. It's okay. I get, the frustration. Even today I was in for a minute and I was at Orison because I blew up just trying to look around Orison, and I ended up there and the elevators weren't there. it's, you know, PTU. I expect it. Things just gonna break. You know, every time a new patch goes into PTU, I expect something to break. Like Microtech is broken right now. I went to Microtech and it's flickering all over the place. It's kind of crazy what's going on there, but I knew something was going to happen at some point in time. I do know they're going to come back and fix it, or maybe it will rectify itself when another item is thrown into the next patch that goes in. Sometimes these things just, you know, they sometimes they correct themselves. Sometimes it's because they're putting new things in that are affecting old ones. I know that they were talking about getting rid of some of the legacy code. And so there's things that are going to happen throughout the course of development. Sometimes things go in, like those last couple patches were great and things went smoothly and no problems, no 30Ks, everything was all cool. And then now we've gotten to this new one, but they're sandwiching in so much into 3.17 that we don't see behind the scenes. Lots of technical code, lots of improvements in the tech that's going in. Gen 12 is starting to go in. We're starting to see hints of server meshing go in. We're starting to see the quantum go in.
Yeah, but I can't play my game. But I can't play my game. You know, that sounds great, but I can't play my game. Right?
Where's my gameplay?
Where's my gameplay? Right? Where's the gameplay? No, those are great points. Those are great points. Let's get who do we have here? We've got Pops in Space. By the way, if you guys want to come in and talk with us, there's a link right below our image in YouTube. There's a link there. It brings you right to the green room. It's not a matter of joining the Discord or anything, but it does bring you into our Discord, which is our queue, and then we will bring you in and you can talk to us and share your thoughts about this topic. So let's bring Pops in. Pops in Space is a good friend of ours. Pops, you there?
Yes.
Hey, how are you, buddy?
Pops.
Okay, I'm doing great.
Good.
Hope y'all doing
Good. We're doing okay for a Saturday.
Wonderful.
Yeah. You saw the question for the day. Did you have any thoughts or questions about what we were talking about?
Yeah, I have a few.
Okay.
I mean, well, first of all, I've had that happen. I mean, when the patch first came out early on, we went in, you spawned, you went to the terminal, asked for your ship to come out, you went down to hangar, it's not there, pieces of it's there, like that. And we, when the elevator was there, so, there was a lot of things going on. It was in my opinion, it was a testament to Evocati, what they go through. That to me, that's the best way to have put it early on. Now, it's like we said, it's running pretty good. It's running pretty good. The visualizations, like you mentioned earlier, are there. You can see the improvements in the contrast. There's a lot more deeper colors. The lighting is better. And then
Pops is no gameplay. Pops is no gameplay. What are we doing here? We just want a nice coloring book. What's the scoop? What's the deal?
Screenshot simulated.
Yeah, I hear you. Pops. I hear you.
I'm just talking about the technical issues. And one of the things DK mentioned about the development of 10 years, and I think that's kind of a misconception. Does development start when you hit the light switch?
Well,
in the room and walk in the room.
You know what, Pops? I'm glad you said that, because if I gave a quick synopsis of what I remember from the history of the development of Star Citizen, for October 2012, there's an announcement that goes out. I think for at least a year beforehand, Chris had been working on some stuff with Crytek to develop the presentation that they want to do, start coming up with the basic ideas of what they want to do for the game. Now, I think one of the things, Pops, is that when people saw that intro, and a lot of people don't think about this, it's one thing to run a beautiful intro on your computer, right? It's another thing when you're running it on servers for multiple people to be able to do the same thing, right? So I can create a game and it looks beautiful. We've seen people do this in Unity. People have done it using the Unreal Engine. But when you're trying to create it for the masses to do the exact same thing you're doing, well, that's where the real labor and work comes in, right?
Exactly.
So 2012 October, there's this kickoff. Chris announces it. He shows this beautiful demonstration. Over the next 3 years, they spend time both doing two things. One of them is growing the company. For those of you who've never watched the earlier videos, when Star Citizen started, literally they started in a house. There was looked like a garage almost, but it was a home down in Austin and then in LA. It was very small quartered. There was about maybe 8 or 9 people, and they started beginning this building, right? And mind you, they're using the Crytek engine, which is where they're starting. Chris looks at the Crytek engine, who he's also a coder and a developer, engineer, and he says, well, I think I can take this engine, and with the right people and time, we can modify it into something else that will suit our needs, because there is no engine out there that's doing what we want it to do. So there's this development over several years of working on that engine, right? The Cry engine. Then there's also the building of the studio. Then there is the development of building tools, not just building things in the game, but building the tools that will one day make developing a universe a easy job to do.
Right.
So in the beginning, there's a lot of handcrafting. There's the initial thing of engineers and developers who are literally making things in a very, handcrafted way. But there's also people who are working on building these tools, right? So then, now mind you, people also forget that this was all about Squadron 42 in the beginning. It wasn't about Star Citizen. And those two things are very separate things in relation to this development. They walk hand in hand, but the original discussion of what would be released back in 2014, 2016 was always in focus to Squadron 42. Anybody who remembers to talk about Star Citizen when it started, it was always it will be ready when it's ready kind of thing. And that it would be long term over the process, right? So I'm just giving you the history of some people who may not know it. So now we get to 2016, 2017, we get into 3.0. And we start feeling, and before 3.0, everything was modular. I don't know if you remember, there was what they called the hangar module. That was the first, the first thing we got was Arena Commander. Arena Commander was the first thing we got. All you could do is fly around Arena Commander. Everybody was happy with that. After that, we moved into these, what they called the hangar module. That was the first time you could go walk around. You had a flight suit on. You could get on your ship. That was all you could do, Pops. Nothing else. You couldn't even start the ship. All you could do is just go in it and look at it and say, "Ooh, this looks cool," and that was it, right? The door opened and closed. That was it. Okay, no powering up. There's nothing there, right? All right. Then we moved into what they call the social module, which is when Area 18, that area where the big globe is in the center of the city, was there, and you could kind of run around in there in the beginning, and then they expanded that out a little bit. Then we get to 3.0, where all these things become merged together, right? Then we move from using Cry engine into what later on becomes the merger with Amazon and the development of Lumberyard. That takes, as DK, you mentioned this earlier, it took a whole shift to move from Cry engine into Lumberyard. They were working on that process probably for a couple of years, trying to get that transition ready for that, right? So what my point is, I haven't even started talking about the game. I'm just telling you about the background stuff that was going on that's nobody talks about, that nobody remembers or thinks about. Some people do, but a lot of people don't know that all of that took place between 2012 and 2017. So now, at the same time, you're trying to develop Squadron 42. At the same time, you're trying to create content for Star Citizen, the universe. You're trying to keep those two things moving together. You're updating, as you're going along, keeping things fresh, bringing in content. Some content comes in, hangs out for a while. Some content disappears. Some of us remember Tessa, where we had 10 missions to do. In the early days, we had that. Tessa got removed. Some of you remember when we used to get interdicted by pirates all the time when you were trying to jump. They put that in. They removed that. There are things that get introduced into the game that get taken away. So there's this constant building over time. Now, at this stage, in the last couple of years, we've been at the place now where we're starting to see careers being built out, like mining. Now they're getting ready to move into salvaging and some other things. So there is a lot, Pops, as you said, that when people kind of think about that 10 years, what has been done. I would personally say that, to me, and this is my personal clock, y'all listen, this is not CIG's clock. My personal head clock for when they really started working on the game was about 2014, 2015. That was when it happened, because prior to that, they also had a lot of work that they were doing with subcontracted out to multiple other third-party companies.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And there was some problems when that happened. There was some issues with metrics. There was a whole bunch of stuff that didn't work out well. Chris reeled everything back in, reset the clock, and said, if we're going to do this to make sure it's right, we're going to do it in-house, and we're going to start from there. So that's kind of where my clock starts with this. Now, was that a faux pas? Was it mistakes? Yes, there were. But every company, especially starting up, can make mistakes, right?
100%, because I worked for a startup before, and I know exactly how that goes. I don't know how many times we had to rewrite our software in the beginning because the ideas changed, the scope changed, many little things changed, and it took time to do it. We had our first product out. It was, for lack of a better term, an S show.
Yeah.
And it kind of worked, and our clients were okay with it, but we wanted to improve it, so we had to rewrite and start a new one, and they were still using the legacy one. When we were writing a new one, we had to kind of shoehorn it together with the other one, and it didn't work so much, but we still tried, and we went through different contractors, and we had to hire new employees, and new employees left, and we moved offices, and we got new server racks overseas as opposed to in-house, and things just went over. Want to talk about 10 years? It was almost 10 years to get a product that was like where we wanted it to be. 10 years of development. That was, I think, maybe 6 or 7 of us that were doing this.
Yeah.
So it takes time, you know?
Yeah, it takes time. It takes time. Pops, thanks for sharing with us. There was some great stuff you pointed us to.
I love it, Pops.
I'm gonna I'm going to bump Pops out. And Pops, you're always welcome to come back. Well, we'll be here, and we're going to go ahead and bring in. We've got Star Jump Grim, who's holding out for us here in the queue, and we'll bring him in.
Right.
Hey, Grim, how are you?
Hey,
how are you?
There he is. There he is. How you been, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. You chilling on a Saturday, huh?
Yeah, I'm working on Fleet Viewer.
Ooh,
in my life.
Yeah, that's what we love to hear. Fleet Viewer. We want to hear about it. We love it. We can't wait till Fleet Viewer comes out. That's awesome.
If it makes anyone feel better, I'm working on Easter eggs now, which should tell you a little bit about how close to being done that is. If we're onto Easter eggs, we're potentially very far.
You're breathing a little bit more. Okay. All right. That's cool. Hey, give us some thoughts. You got any thoughts on what we're talking about today?
I do. Yeah. So for me, I've been following Star Citizen since 2012, but I didn't back the game till 2018 or 19, essentially whenever 3.8 came out.
Yep, same as me.
Yeah, and there's reasons behind that. So, but the other thing I'll say is I'm used to long duration projects because I work in the film industry. So movies sometimes take 10 years to get made, and that's a movie. Everyone knows how to make a movie. You know what I mean? Yep. This is a game that is doing things that have never been done before. But ultimately, I do understand the Spectrum posters' frustration. And I think the frustration ultimately is a marketing problem. And from us all who have already backed, I think sometimes it feels a bit like a development problem or a development challenge or development related, right? So we're looking at it from that perspective. We can look at the past patch cycles and say, well, we didn't used to have this, but now we have this. And you can see that progress in real time. Right. But from the outside world, like people I know that I want to get in this game, all they see is a game that's been in development for 10 years, and they can't think of very many games that have been in development that long. So it's all about like optics, right? And I think like most backers, we want the game to attract more players than it currently has. We want newer players coming in because that's going to bolster the development funds and get this game made. But in order to do this, I do think CIG's marketing department needs to start challenging this 10-year development thing from a marketing perspective. Right now, what we mainly get from the marketing department at CIG is a new ship sale, right? Which especially a ship like, let's say, the Expanse, very current backer focused, I feel like, right? Like current backers are going to find that ship very attractive. The average new player, personally, I don't think goes, you know what, I need that refinery ship that's not out yet. You know what I mean? So it's to me, it's a marketing problem. And I think that the two entities that need to counter it are CIG's marketing department, obviously, but also Chris. And I think they could challenge it in a really interesting way because we all know how infectious Chris can be sometimes and the things he says about this game. I think it's why we bought it. Now the good news is I think that this all could be starting to change, and we've seen, Jared head over to the UK. We've seen Chris now head over to the UK. There's obviously some momentum behind Squadron 42. Squadron 42 is going to be, to me, the big thing that's going to now challenge this narrative. If they can get that product out the door, which we all think, are pretty sure it will be, get that product out the door. There's no better flag wave, to say, hey, this is a real thing where all the money you sunk into this is actually going somewhere. So I think Squadron 42 is a huge part of that. And that's going to be really exciting when we really start seeing that especially the formal marketing push for Squadron 42. You know what I mean? Especially when we eventually get that trailer one day that says coming, September 19th. You know what I mean? When that firm date is there, that's going to be a big deal. But then they're going to have another challenge to deal with. They're going to attract new players with Squadron 42, and then those new players are going to want to check out Star Citizen, and they're going to need to either make sure Star Citizen is in a really good place, which I think they've been doing, but they also have got to, again, get behind that marketing message of, hey, this is still in development. It's going to be in development. Here's how we're making strides every quarter. Here's our long-term goal. Again, it's when we've done on Star Jump Station old shows on like repair gameplay, right? Or how Death of a Spaceman is going to work. We'll have to go back and do research on videos from CIG from like 7 years ago. I really think CIG marketing needs to get behind making new videos that cover some of those old topics, and new videos that we can show to someone that doesn't have a date next to them that says 2015. That's what's they really need. In the movie and the TV world, we call this a rebranding. They almost need a rebranding on their marketing materials to make things feel fresh and new. Because, I think most people would agree that while Jared's shows are awesome, I love Inside Star Citizen, Calling All Devs and stuff like that. We've gotten to the point now where we kind of expect those each week. You know what I mean? The content may be new and exciting, but there's nothing new and exciting about the show schedule or anything like that. So yeah, to wrap up my long vent, I would just say that it's a marketing problem, and I hope that some of that is starting to change now. So I totally get the Spectrum posters frustration. Yeah.
And you make a good point there, Grim. That's actually a really good point. It's almost, I feel like that the marketing department can maybe, instead of just selling the ship, they can sell the new edition, the loot, or sell the updates of, the medical gameplay, and say, look, we've got this new medical gameplay. This is what's coming into the patch. And then they can market that and show people that, oh, these are the new things that are being developed, and here's our progress. Maybe, you could do the ship sales too. But I agree with you that maybe marketing needs a overhaul in a way.
Yeah, or even for every patch we get we usually get a patch trailer, right? Like a 317 trailer or a 315 trailer, and it will show off the things new for that patch. I would love for them every year to do a patch or a new Star Citizen trailer for like where they are now, and they could really just take that year's patch trailers and combine them. You know what I mean? Because it's hard for new players to get the full breadth of the game, because again, all they hear is that those negative articles that are out there of a game that's stuck in development turmoil. You know what I mean? It's a challenge. Movies, the film industry counters this by releasing new trailers. To spice things up, they'll release the Red Band trailer. They send the actors to Comic-Con. They'll start sending the actors on press junkets. So they're constantly like making sure they're getting ahead of the narrative, and sometimes they'll even move the release date for marketing purposes. CIG needs to do that, I think, for Star Citizen. The issue is that most of the content they're creating for Star Citizen right now, I feel like, is very much for current backers. It's just hard to. It's almost like. Now, I will say, I don't think they're doing nothing in this regard. I think Invictus is one of the best things they've done in a long time to attract new players. And while I don't know their sales numbers, I would think Invictus has been hugely successful for them from a dollar standpoint with new players. Because again, it's not just a marketing thing, but they put lore behind it. There's an in-game event. It's such a great billboard for a new player. You know what I mean? Such a great billboard for a new player. Even more so than like a Citizen Con or an IE or anything, which to be fair, IE feels very much like a ship sale, just a big ship sale, where Invictus truly feels like there's something in it for everyone. The new player, the old player, the outside meta game of ship buying, the inside meta game of going to a ship expo. You know what I mean? There's a lot there that I think Invictus has to offer. And, I think them just leveraging some of that a little bit more than they do could really help Star Citizen. But on the flip side, I really do think the focus is on Squadron 42. And while I'm not super interested in Squadron 42, I'm very much behind it from a support standpoint, because I do think that's going to be one of the biggest positive news tractions for Star Citizen out there. Because you're going to be able to have game reviewers on game websites and other stuff. They're going to be able to play this experience and say, wow, this spells good, this points to a good hopeful road for Star Citizen. You know what I mean? There's going to be something tangible in someone's hand, and I think that's going to be a really big deal. So
great
points. And I agree. I think the last couple of years we've seen Invictus grow, and especially last year, the numbers of people that participated. The first year, I remember we had the big launch problem that first day. It was nobody could get in because the servers were just freaked out. But between that and the free fly, it does give a great opportunity for people. I think the other thing too is that the more the game has been more, for lack of a better term, playable, the more backers feel comfortable inviting people to play. Because I know I didn't really invite people to. You had to be a very specific person for me to invite you to try Star Citizen years ago. And so now you can actually throw that out there and say, hey, just understand it's a little buggy, but you can get it. You know what I mean? And you don't feel so apprehensive about telling. Because some people, they just, it's so. You mentioned this about marketing, Grim. When you see those trailers and stuff, and DK, you mentioned this in one of our shows before, and it says playable now. What does that say to someone who doesn't understand alpha? It means that it's playable now, and when people come and the game isn't playable, like the person who's in here who says, hey, I tried to get in the elevator, tried to spawn my ship. By the way, if you spawned your ship and it was in the hangar, but you couldn't see it, that meant you had an Origin 404, so stop complaining. All right. Yeah. But as you mentioned, we do understand the frustration, and we don't want to dismiss the frustration. We want to bring greater understanding because, some people don't get it. Now, mind you, there are some people who get it and they want their game and they want it now. And it doesn't make a difference what we say in relation to development or if they could take a tour of the studio and they might still come out and say, hey, it should be ready by now. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is.
And I would argue too that one thing I would love to see CIG do more of is speak to things like the community and stuff a little bit more. And what I mean by that is, I think a year ago or a year and a half ago, EVE Online put out some trailers for their game, and you're talking an old game at this point that some people even think of as an old game. They put out some new trailers that focused on how great the in-game world is, but their primary focus was on the communities within that game. And I'm not talking just big content creators or big orgs and stuff. It was big to small, right? And they really, they highlighted the couple that met in the game, and they highlighted on that. And I think CIG should really lean on that stuff. Not that they haven't in the past, but when all is said and done, because this game is still in alpha, the people that are truly going to stick around are going to be the people that love the community. I feel above all else, and those are going to be the people that have formed bonds and created friendships and stuff. So I think CIG could lean on that a lot more than they do, and they have done it successfully in the past. They've highlighted certain things like that. I just think that is what's going to attract more and more people, and some of that again is just messaging. When Pyro gets close to coming out, for example, I think they need to frame that and not just hey, patch 4.0, you're getting Pyro. It's going to be, they really need to blow that out as like, a new journey begins. They need to use that language that sounds like it's targeting existing players, new players, broader market. Hopefully they'll do that. I mean, we've already seen that they want to call the Pyro patch the 4.0 patch. So I think they're thinking about that, because it doesn't really matter what the patch number is, but they know from an optics standpoint that feels like a bigger jump, right? So yeah, hopefully that's the path they're taking. So.
Yeah,
awesome, great stuff.
Well, thanks guys, appreciate it.
Thanks for dropping in, man. You're always welcome to come back. We're going to move on to question number 2, and we appreciate all that you shared, buddy. Okay,
thank you.
Thanks, dudes.
All
Later.
Right. All right, yeah. Let's. We've got Fist to Face waiting in chat, but Fist, I got to move on to the next question because we've got, as you know, we've got a full show today. So I want you to kind of be ready for this one because I am going to bring you in on it because I'm sure you'll have something that you want to share in relation to this one. Let's go to the question number 2. And this one came from Spectrum as well. This was kind of an interesting one. It says, let me read the beginning of it and then we'll deal with the question. Okay. The only thing, this was the title of the thread. The only thing expansive about the expanse. Okay. That was the title. All right.
I like the title.
Yeah. The only thing expansive about the expanse is the wait before it actually is usable in game. Not only is this a concept sale that will not be flight ready for an indefinite amount of time, but it also entirely relies on mechanics and features which are not yet implemented and likely won't be for an equally indefinite amount of time. And indefinite is no exaggeration. With no roadmap, we have no idea when these things will be done. Can the prospector or mole eject one ore bags yet? Do the ship tractor beams function yet? Let's see what else that they put here, because my thing is not reading here. Even if this ship was flight ready today, it would serve no active purpose, like so many other ships we've pledged for. The Redeemer has been in this position for years, and even the Mercury Herald still don't have data running. When are we going to start seeing core features pushed instead of ship sales? All of these shiny JPEGs in the universe mean nothing if the gameplay isn't there.
Where's my gameplay?
So yeah, there we go. Where's my gameplay? So DK, that question is, when are we going to start seeing core features pushed instead of ship sales? These ship sales getting on my nerves, brother. What's the scoop with that? How do we approach
I'm so
that?
sorry, those ship sales are so annoying. You know what? How about this? We stop the ship sales and stop development. We got to get now. Those concept artists and the people working on the ship, they're gonna have to find a new job, because if we're gonna stop all that stuff.
Wait, whoa! They got $450 million sitting in the bank. What are you talking about? All that money sitting in the bank.
That's right. Let me go on Wells Fargo and see.
So
I'm gonna work on that right now.
So are you trying to say that $450 million is not sitting in the bank? Is that what you're trying to say? That they've been maybe
I'm gonna say
spending
they probably got about 15 to 20 million max sitting around, covering all of their salaries and insurances and all that stuff. The rest of that money has been spent over the years. Gone.
Okay.
I would, when it comes to this question or it comes to this statement, I get it. Again, I get the frustration. I completely understand. But if CIG, if those concept artists don't have work to do and don't have anything, and nothing to progress on, then they're not going to be working at CIG. They're going to have to find new jobs. The funding model is going to have to change, because the funding is crowdfunded. So that model is going to have to change. You're not going to see many improvements in things. And then people are going to be saying, well, where's the ship so that I could do this? Well, we got rid of the concept artist, so now we're going to have to hire some. And it's going to take some time for them to get up to speed to learn what's going on with the game's engine and things like that. I totally get the frustration of ship sales, but that is what is driving the funding model right now. And they have to have something to do. I mean, they're not just going to stop. And the ship concept artists can't just start going into the server room and start programming. Yeah. They don't know how to do that. That's not their job.
Yeah.
We hear that argument a lot. Well, what, do they just need to hire on more developers or stop doing this and move those developers over there? It's like, no. More cooks in the kitchen doesn't help. Yeah. And when you've got somebody who's salad station, they're probably not in the pantry baking, most likely. They have a baker for that. So there's ways to look at it. And I think that we're at the point where the funding model is, starting to, or at least the ship sales are starting to change a little bit. We're getting inklings of ways that the expanse can be used. Okay. We're seeing it starting to come together, especially with the whole MISC line. The whole MISC line all is like an industry company all on its own. Yeah. Think about it. With the expanse coming in, you've got an entire industry. You've got the large ship that people can go to and the Endeavor as a space station. The expanse can look around for mining locations in park.
Let me stop you there for a second, because you're bringing up the expanse. Do you think that CIG may, okay, this person says that the mechanics aren't there, but refining mechanics are in the game right now.
Yes, they are.
So there is a possibility that when this ship comes in the game, that they have made it a portable refinery, right? Yep. But the person on this thread talks about the fact that we're not able to disconnect the bags from the ship yet. Tractor beams are in the game. So technically they could bring the ship in with the tractor beam working. So really the only mechanic that we're dealing with right now is the detachable bags. Is that right?
Right.
Okay.
That's right.
So I guess my question is that is it possible that CIG might, sometimes they fool us, right? There's something that's not on the roadmap. I thought it was also interesting that he mentioned about, we don't have the roadmap anymore. Yeah, but when we had the roadmap, people were complaining about the roadmap if something wasn't there, right? So, it's like, danged if you do, danged if you don't, right? You know what I mean? And so I don't even know if I want to even entertain that part of the argument, but the part of the argument that I feel is valid is that, we really need to get those bags working. If those bags are working, we're pretty close to having that mechanic. Does this look like that to you? Since refining's there and tractor beams are there?
Absolutely. The only thing that's really kind of left is moving that those commodities from the prospector to the expanse, and from the expanse to a freelancer max to get it down to the ground. That's what
that could be tractor beam too, though, right? That could be tractor beam too, right?
Beams. Exactly. Tractor beam is there, and they teased the 315 tractor beam.
Yes.
So we know that the tractor beam is on its way. The technology is already there because we got the personal handheld ones.
Right.
They're probably going to make a bigger personal handheld one.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And then that moves on to the ship. And the 315 will probably be the first ship to get the tractor beam, maybe next to the raft. And then we'll start seeing the addition of tractor beams into other ships as well.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely.
Cool. All right, let's bring Fist in. Let's see what Fist might want to share in relation to this. Fist, you there?
Yes.
Hey, how are you, man?
All right, hanging in there. How you guys doing?
Doing good.
Yeah.
So is the expansive, is the expanse the only thing that's expansive to you, or what did you think about this person's comment about whether or not this ship's going to come in and basically just be, nothing that we can do with it? Any thoughts on that?
Patience.
Okay.
Patience.
Okay.
Patience. I mean, we all know. I mean, we all know that the mechanics will come. Obviously, those things depend upon some back end things, to get right. Like you guys talked about earlier, with the state of the game and the alpha, we have to kind of put things in perspective. And unfortunately, yes, we are a part of the development of this game, so it's going to take a lot of patience. So for me, I look at it. I guess my answer to that question really is, like I just said, patience.
Okay.
It's just gotta.
Okay. All right, let me ask you this: as a player, do you feel that sometimes CIG has, they've told us in the past, we're not going to bring any ships in unless the mechanics are there. Sometimes they've done that, sometimes they haven't, right? Since they made that statement.
Yeah.
Do you think that on this particular ship that they're closer to bringing this one in with its mechanics because, as we mentioned, tractor beams are there, refinery is in the game? Do you think that they could possibly drop this ship in and those functions do work on the ship?
You know what? It's possibility because CIG has always, sometimes I've learned over these years that they've kind of surprised you with things. They'll kind of drop something in there, and like they may drop the ship in there, and you may not even know that they're dropping in a mechanic.
Yeah. So it could happen. We'll say
it could happen. It could happen
because this person made it sound like this. It's so far down the road, we'll never see it for forever. You know what I mean?
I mean, you don't know. I mean, because one of the things, like you said, that I've learned was that from listening to you guys and listening to other people was that I didn't know a lot of these ships have already been made, have already been fully fleshed out. I mean, some of the things might have, like the older ships of different metric systems, like you guys were saying, that they were on that, so they had to redo them and all of that stuff. But I mean, realistically, a lot of those things have already been done, and I think it's just really to get down the mechanical part, the coding parts to make sure those things work. Right. That's your really bulk of your heavy lifting.
Okay.
A good CG artist, I'm just going to be kind of, I don't know, I guess you could say conservative here, but a good CG artist can probably knock out a good model of a ship between, maybe 2 weeks. You know what I mean? You got to figure out a team doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, the real mechanics of it is the animations and the coding of it.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know the mechanics.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Those are good thoughts.
Yeah.
All right, Fist. Thanks, man. We appreciate you,
Hey, no
brother. As
problem.
always, like I said, if
Thank
you want to
you.
drop back in, we'll be here. Okay.
Of course.
All right, my
Yeah.
brother. All right. Let's you know what? Let's go ahead and take one. You know what? I'm gonna
Mhm.
Oh, we only took one person. We're gonna take Pops for this one real quick. And then you know what I'm gonna do? I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. Let me bring Pops in and I'm gonna give him a choice. All right, because on this next question, I know he's a big lover of this next question, and he might want to answer that one instead of this one. Okay. But before I bring him in, I think there was one other thing that they mentioned. We talked about the flight readiness, pledging. I think to your point, funding has got to happen. If it doesn't happen one way, it's got to happen another way, because every month there are millions of dollars that are spent to pay for rent, equipment, servers, employees. And if we don't sell something, don't know what it is, then at some point somebody say, okay, we've got to shutter the doors, or we have to stop where we are now. And you know, but I think that Fitz said it earlier, patience. And I know that sounds so rough to say, but we're so much closer now. and I do agree with something that Grim said earlier. When Squadron 42 comes out, there is going to be a big sigh of relief.
Yes.
A tremendous amount of pressure is going to shift. A lot of players will shift to that, but to his point, he also says that's going to make some other people even hungrier for the persistent universe. So, but it does shift some things a little bit when that comes out. So
it does.
Let me bring Pops in. And then if he wants to comment on this, he can. And if he wants to do the other one, fine. Listen, if you all want to come in and talk to us, again, this is your chance to talk to us one-on-one. All you got to do is click on the link that's below the video here, and it'll bring you into our chat queue, and you guys can share your thoughts. Pops, you there?
Yes.
All right, Pops. So let me tell you what the next question is.
Okay.
Because our time is limited. And what I want to do is you let me choose. If you want to still talk about this one, you can. But if you want to talk about the next one, then we're going to go jump to that, okay? So here was the question that came up next for us to cover. All right, this came from Reddit. We're off of Spectrum now. We're into Reddit. Somebody said, place your bets. How much will the BMM be on release based on what we know of the 890 jump? So
release.
So Pops, which one do you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about the expanse conversation, or you want to talk about the Bandu merchantman conversation?
Well, okay, I'll just briefly say this about the expanse.
Now you can't do both, Pops. Which one?
Okay, never mind. Then never mind about the expanse. What I got to say about the expanse.
All right. So if you're going to go forward, let me show you what they showed, and then this might even help you a little bit in your conversation. Okay.
Okay.
So that's the picture that the person posted with that question. All right. They say an 890 jump runs 890 in if cash, or 950 in cash US. But the BMM right now is what, 500? Something like that? 550? Somewhere around there. So they're saying, let's just base it upon the physicality of these two ships. Do you think that BMM's gonna stay at $500? All right. So Pops, I'm gonna let you go in before DK this time. So you give me your thoughts about this question, because it's an interesting question.
Okay. First of all, it's functionality. The BMN is a moneymaker. The 890 jump is it is a luxury. It is something that you show off. It is something that says, I've got class. It is that kind of a ship. It's a ship. That's what it is. That's what the 890 jump is. It's an ship.
Okay.
It says all of those things. The BMM is a moneymaker, even though it has some wonderful artwork elements in it, because you've got people from different places, different things you want to come on your ship. You're going to impress them by the design of the ship, but it's a moneymaker.
Okay.
My opinion on the price, I own one. But a release price, that ship's gonna, at the price that I'm thinking it's gonna release late this year.
Really?
So
okay.
At least I'm hoping. I'm hoping and I'm praying.
Okay.
I think it's gonna be released.
Okay.
I think it's gonna be released. So I'm gonna say, I'm going to say the price is going to jump way up from
Okay.
what it is now. So I'm going to say this as to get the community excited, to get them pushing towards that next level. I think it will be a bargain still at $850.
Okay. 850.
Because I think it's going to set the community on fire.
Okay.
And I think it's going to be one. I think it's as far as ships concerned, I think it's on a downhill end of development, like I was saying. Now I think that is the ship that says we're on not a downhill is in bad, but a downhill is in speed.
Getting closer. It's getting closer.
Yeah.
Right. It's getting closer.
All right.
That's why I'm going to give it that good coming in price.
All right.
Get the community excited.
All right. DK, what do you think about this? Pops is saying that one, he says that he's projecting possibly a release this year, and secondly, price is definitely going up. He's increasing it by about 500 to 450. So I don't remember if anybody in chat remembers what the current price is for the BMM.
Yeah,
please let us know. I think it's
see.
around 5 or 550, something like that. If Fast Cart was around, he would definitely know. By the way, Fast Cart's at PAX East. He's out there having a good time at PAX East. But if anybody knows what the current price is for the BMM, let us know. DK, what are your thoughts? I mean, looking at that scale of those ships, it would be the first, let me throw some things behind it, right? It'd be our first large scale alien ship being introduced into the game. Factor in the possibility of alien tax. They might. What do you think? Pops is saying 850. Where's your head at with this?
Well, I'm going by the specs, I guess that any ship around that size is going to have to cost the same as the 890, right? No, the BMM, like Pop said, is an industrial ship. Yes, it's going to look pretty, but it is an industrial ship. Yes, the price is definitely going to go up. But we're also getting to a point where they're moving from concept to ship in very, very short amount of time. They reconcepted the BMM, and we got to see it during CitizenCon last year. They're already in white box and getting ready to go into art phase. So they're moving pretty darn quick to get this ship out.
Actually, you know what? They were in gray box, dude. They were in gray box
already.
Yeah, they were in gray box
already.
Yeah.
So how close is that? Look how close it is. Price is going to go up, of course. I mean, that's just how it works. Everything is going to eventually go up in prices to get closer to release. Is it going to cost as much as the 890? I don't think so. I think it'll be a little bit less than the 890. But it is, it's going to be a high market. So if you got into it early, you're lucky. You're really lucky. But that's just about with every single concept that we had. It comes in low. As it gets built, the hype goes up. And yes, CIG knows that the marketing is there to actually move the price up. That's their prerogative. That's how marketing works. That's how businesses work. You get you in the door, and then they start to move up market. Cars companies do this all the time. $100 down, the car is going to be built in 5 years. People will throw money at Tesla all day long for a Cybertruck that was concepted 4 years ago, and they're still tossing money at them, and there is no Cybertruck to be seen. It's all based on the hype.
Let me throw in something Mr. Shrek says. Mr. Shrek here. Pop says he got his at 400. Mr. Shrek said he got his for 350. I got mine back when it was 250. Right? Now, these ships jump. Big, like the 890 was the only other ship that I remember jumping substantially. When the 890 came out, it was $600. And then it jumped to $950. So it had a $350 increase, right? But it also grew in size. It did grow in size, okay? The 890, and I'm going to go by the lore of the ship. The 890 jump is considered, as you guys know, it's a flagship for the Banu. It's also their ship that they can go to battle with when necessary. I'm thinking that because of the ship, because the ship was pre-metric when it was designed, it's going to grow in size, which we already know it's done that. It's going to grow in size.
Yep.
So that means that price of 250, even 350, 400, even 500 is probably not going to remain, obviously. We've gone from 250 to 500. That's double the price, where the 890 only went up by half its price. It only went by 300. Okay, this is doubled in price. Now you've got the aspects of all the things that, which back then we knew nothing about the internals on the ship. All we saw was the negotiation room. We saw a shot of what was like the bazaar area, and I think there was maybe one other internal shot back in the day. It was all concept art, right? Now we've seen that there's a sanctuary, there's a prison area, there's a remote area with a gun with a walkway. We've seen the showroom area, the big hangar bay area. We've seen the store. I mean, there's all these dynamics of the ship now that we've seen, and we've seen all the slick stuff, right? The holograms, floating stuff, all that.
Yep.
The design of the ship. I would have to say, and it would be scary for me to think about the price jump on this, because I always said that the 890 was the best bang for buck for people who got it at 600. If this ship jumps up to, and I saw Nihilus, who has a serious axe to grind on this ship, because he says this ship needs to be higher because of in relation to like ships like the Privateer. He's saying that this is an alien version of it, so it needs to be priced wise. I would say, I think you and Pop's numbers of 850 to 900 is reasonable. But I also think that if you throw in, if they decide to do alien tax on this thing, that they could push this ship up to 1,200. I used to say 1,000.
Yeah.
They could push it to 1,200. Now that's almost 5 times the original price, right?
Yeah.
That's a lot of change. But what
Yes,
it would
it
give,
is.
but what it would give room for, and this isn't my original idea. Ray from Ray's Guide did a thing just this last week called 8 ships that he would like to see happen in the verse. One of the suggestions he had, and I never thought of this as his idea, but I think it's fabulous, is a middle ground merchantman ship.
Yeah.
Something that allows much more entry level but smaller. He gave, if this one was called the merchantman, maybe this medium sized one would be called the journeyman. But it wouldn't need the big, all that big area that this ship had, because this sucker's a monster. This is a big business. It's an 890. So to have something that falls into like will be the equivalent of the 600 with the 890, this Origin 600, you'd have something that was brand new that landed in that. So now you would have a more moderate, medium-sized trading vessel, and then you'd have the Banu merchantman as the not capital, but the larger. It was, this ship has gone through everything from being a frigate to a blockade runner to capital, whatever. But it would be the big daddy of trading when it comes to the Banu. Now to the Banu, it would be their big daddy of trading. So that's kind of where I see it. So Pops, let me ask you, what do you think about that? Do you think there could be room for that middle ground ship that could come in?
Absolutely, because I think the Banu is such an incomplete fleet right now. We've only got one ship. One Banu ship in the game right now.
Well, 2. We got the Defender.
Yeah, the Defender. The Defender. There's nothing else. I meant Flyable.
Oh, yeah.
Flyable.
Right. Yes.
And that ship is supposed to have a synergy. So that ship is the synergy to the Banu Merchantman. Okay. But there's nothing in the game right now that crosses the lines that the Banu Merchantman will. Like you said, it's alien. It has a commerce purpose to it. It's a long range ship. It has features in it that no other ship. And my only reason for putting it that low, because I think we're right, saying it could go for 1,200 and still be a bargain. But I would just like to see the fire set behind this ship to kind of just set things off. And I know that can be an edge for some people. On one, it could be a double-edged sword. Some people will be like, that's way too low. And those people are probably right. It probably 850 is probably too low, but I think this ship crosses the line and crosses so many lines in the game and so much that it is just one of those ships that fits in that area that crisscrosses so many places. But it needs more Banu, a lot more in the fleet, and I think that's yet to come. And I think this is just the beginning to the Banu fleet.
Let me throw this at DK, and then we're going to move on. And by the way, anybody else wants to come in and comment about this, about the 890 versus the Banu as far as pricing, feel free. There's another side of this Dark Knight that I'm tossing in. The 890 is not its own regular ship either, right?
Right.
Because what we didn't factor in was that the reason why the 890 costs as much as it does is not just because of its size, but because of what we call the luxury tax. Origin ships usually cost a little bit more. They may be comparable to other ships, but they always cost a little bit more than other ships do. So that also boosts the price of the 890, right? Yep. So some people might say, well, the 890, if it didn't have the luxury tax, it might run for 750, right? They may say that, but they'll say, okay, well, because of the luxury, they placed it at 950. We could say the same thing about the Banu, that maybe that's the reason why, with the luxury tax. Let me throw a different loop into here, because Pops mentioned about the price could be either, and I agree with you, Pops, it could be 1200, could be 850, because what they could do also, they could create, as you mentioned, Pops, there's not enough Banu ships. They could create a flagship or a capital, because we don't have a Banu capital.
Exactly.
So they could keep the BMM at a price of 850 to 9. They could still create that middle ground 600i kind of ship for Banu that lands around 556, and then they could come up with that Banu cap, which the lore is open. They could create whatever they want to, that runs for 12 to 1500. They could do that, you know. And so the pricing here, I think they were all in agreement upon is that this ship is definitely going to increase in price, right?
Oh, absolutely.
DK, you got any thoughts on that? Is that anything else before we go on to the next one?
I see that I think it's going to need to be under $1,000 for it to really, justify it, not over increase it as far as people's minds might look at it. I mean, you can go 990 even at that, and people will be like, okay. You say at 1001, they'll be like, oh my God, I can't believe that's just how it works in economy. It's going to increase in price. I like that idea of having a medium size or medium large size vessel that fits in that 600i category for Banu. I think that's an awesome idea, and I would almost like to believe that maybe they've already thought of it too.
I would too.
And that maybe it's already in their minds. We'll wait on it. We'll tell them about it later. But their concept and stuff all the time. They just don't tell us what they're working on. But I think keeping it under 1,000 would be important. It doesn't have to be super more expensive than the 890. Even if it just stays in that same realm, I think that's fine. It's going to be an interesting take to see when it comes out. Everything's going up in price, though. My Starliner is going to go up in price once they reconcept it. I guarantee it.
Absolutely. All right, Pops. Thanks again, man, for stopping in. All right, we're going to go ahead and get going.
And I'd just like to say one last thing, Griff. Thanks for giving me Banu fever today.
you can pass it on to your buddy FC when you see him, okay? Because he's gonna be like, oh God, they talked about my ship.
Okay.
All right, buddy. Thanks again.
All right.
Let me see if I can get Pop settled up here. All right, there we go. DK, I think your point's well made. It'll be interesting to see what happens with this when it's all said and done. The merchantman, there's a lot of anticipation on it. I like Pop's idea of them dropping it. Now, if they drop it this year, if they drop that during IAE, it'll blow up.
Oh, it will blow
now,
up.
If they
They'll see sales out there.
But if they don't, they'll hold it till Alien Week next year. So I think it'll depend on how the development goes. You know what I mean? There's a possibility. They're in gray box. We're talking 6 months away. It could happen in IAE if they're really focused. And they've been focusing on this ship for over a year now. It started at the beginning of last year. So we know that they're working on it, but it'll be really interesting to see if they decided to drop it. If they would,
sure will.
The plate, they say the roof will be on fire, as they would say. So it'll be,
and like you said, we've got 2 places to do it: IAE and Alien Week next year. One of those two.
Yeah,
definitely one of those two.
Absolutely, absolutely. J2 says, keep in mind also that anything over $1,000 cannot be gifted. Wow, the price of this ship started at, and how many sitting people back. Not being able to gift it might upset a lot of people. That's true. That's very true. So that's something to think about. If you got the sucker sitting in your buybacks, man. You can do it, but you got to go through. You got to go through a serious chain with CIG if you want to do stuff, and it's a headache. So, J2, thanks for mentioning that. That is really interesting. Okay. Yeah. We that was an interesting question. You know,
it was a really interesting
place
question.
your bets. Yeah. How much will the BMM be on release? Boy, I tell you, we'll have to see what happens with that. All righty then. Okay. Well, listen. Thank you all. We're still the show's still going, gang. Again, if you guys want to come in and talk to us, you're more than welcome to. But DK and I are about to leave for a couple minutes, and we're gonna, as you guys know, our special guests today are the Player Haters. They're gonna be on. So if you want to come in and talk with the Player Haters, you are more than welcome to do it. You can just come in if you got a question or a comment. But be forewarned, the Player Haters are not me and DK. We're nice guys. The Player Haters are haters. They hate you if you like Star Citizen. They hate you if you don't like Star Citizen. So we just want to kind of give you that warning to enter at your own risk. If you want to come in, they can be nice to you. Don't get me wrong, but sometimes they get a little beside themselves. DK, I don't know.
They hate me.
That's why. That's why we have to come back every once in a while. They can't be here every week because we wouldn't have anybody watching the show.
That's
so
right.
We are going to take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to come back, and then you guys will be able to talk with the Player Haters. So thanks again for all of you who hung out with me and DK. We're going to sign off, and we're going to pass that on to them now. So we'll see you guys in a bit.
Right.
Welcome to Orison, the majestic city in the clouds of Crusader. This unique location is famously beautiful and has made Orison a prime tourist destination in the Stanton system. It offers breathtaking views that you will never forget. Reserve your place today and save up to 20% on the upcoming Space Whale Tour. Orison, the place of your dreams.
Soul Citizens, the network that has brought you compelling programs about citizens, backers, refunders, white knights, pirates, salty space dogs, whales, dolphins, Care Bears, griefers, and grifters. Now, the Soul Citizens Network gives you another side of the story as we go into the world of the haters. The Soul Citizens present the Playa Haters.
I got the glasses, but I can't see.
You can't see? What you mean you can't see? What kind of glasses you got, Loc-G?
Man, you know how these rose-colored glasses go,
Oh, you rose-colored glasses. Who used to? I know you. Where you steal them from? I know you went to Walmart and got them glasses. Don't be acting like you got nothing, brother.
Yeah, you know you went over there to the Family Dollar, didn't you?
Oh my, you hating already? Wait, you got on camera and you hating already? Oh no! All right, well listen. Are you ready?
I'll go over here.
Are you ready? Are you ready, my brother?
I'm all set, man. Where these fools at over here?
I don't know, man. I'm trying to.
I heard they've been trying to get some questions going on.
Right.
Man, these fools over here, I'm telling you.
All right. Well, listen, we're going to go ahead and open this up. Here come the Player Haters. For those of you who are here today, look at my brother. Oh, man, look at you, brother. Oh, man, check that out. Wait,
how you doing over there, man?
How you get a purple hat, man? Are you going to wear a purple hat when I'm wearing a purple hat?
Man, you know, I got this over there at that store next to Spectrum store over there, that alley back.
I can't believe this old sideways brother wearing this old sideways hat. Listen, man. Listen, we, you know, by the way, y'all, we're the Player Haters. This is my brother, Loc-G. Loc-G? Man, how you gonna name yourself Loc-G, man?
You know, your daddy over there, your mama.
Oh, man, you couldn't even be original.
Around, couldn't even figure it out. They saw me, they like, well, we'll name our kid G-Loc. And they bought a bar and named it after you.
Oh, man.
How in the world they do that?
Y'all see this? This brother can't even be original. He gonna name himself after me. Y'all know he named himself. Look at this name. Loc-G. Ain't this a mess? All right, well, listen. We got some, I know we got some haters out there that gonna come in and talk to us. So we need to go ahead and address a couple of questions. Man, let me see something. Coming to the camera a little bit, man. What you got on, man? What's that chain, man? I know you ain't got, where you get that chain from, man?
Man, my girl gave me this chain.
Come here, baby. Do me a favor, lean over a little bit so I can see if there's some green on your neck. Cause I know that probably ain't no real chain, man.
Oh, come on, man. You know that I got this
fresh
This
gold
brother.
out of Terra.
Oh,
Ooh,
this
that's some
brother.
Terra and gold, baby.
All right, I got your Terra and gold. All right, listen, we're gonna go ahead and hit up with this first question. All right, let's hit them up with that first question we got.
Let's see what they got
All
to
right,
say.
let's see this first one. Now, this one, y'all know when we get these questions come out of Reddit. So we're gonna pull up some Reddit questions. All right. Now, this one was called the Iron Laws of Star Citizen. All right, Iron Laws of Star Citizen. Now I'm gonna have to read. Let me see. You know what? I can't, man. You know what? These glasses, man. I can't see nothing with these glasses on, man. Let me see something for a minute. Where's my? How do I make this screen bigger? This screen too small. That I can't even see. All right, let me see if I can read this. I can't even read. All right, here it goes. All right, it says, I'm reposting this from a year ago. All right, because it seems more relevant than ever. For every year of development that passes, Star Citizen is 1 year further away from being complete. Squadron 42, on the other hand, was 2 years away until last year, and now it just don't even exist, and we don't even talk about it. The more, now check this out, the more incompetent CIG is, the more money they make. I need to follow that formula, Jack. Listen, they're missing deadlines. It's a blessing for them. People spend because the game ain't finished, and they most definitely won't actually buy it when it's finished. In fact, now this is kind of crazy. In fact, realized, why even bother having deadlines at all? The entire game is gonna miss its deadline, all right? But, man, I can't read worth. None of these glasses are terrible, man. I gotta take these back to Walmart.
Man, you gotta get yourself some new glasses, fool. They gotta stop.
Bad publicity is actually good publicity because it makes loyal Star Citizen fans double down and spend more money, baby. It also it also attracts easily duped new money marks. Ooh, a mark. I like that mark. You know, you're mark, man.
Them punk ass marks over there.
Punk marks, yep. Who are able who are able to look past and criticize and see the value that Star Citizen doesn't have. All right. And anyway, they go on and on. All right. But that's the point of this particular one, right? They say that I can't read this word. Not many classes are terrible, man. Let's see. Posted. Oh, all they do is post pretty screenshots and argue with people over the internet about Star Citizen and what it's gonna be in the end. So this brother says the more incompetent CIG is, the more money they make, and missed deadlines is a blessing. So you got any thoughts about this person? This person sound like a hater, man. They sound like a real hater.
I tell you what, fool. Hey, if you want to donate something else, donate it to LOC-G. I live right over there, right behind Spectrum.
Hey, man, this ain't your personal. This ain't your personal fundraising, man. You need to go get you a GoFundMe, Jack. What you gonna come on here talking about giving you some money?
If you mad about giving money to those fools over at CIG, bring it on over here to
the only thing anybody gonna give you is some AUEC, man. They're gonna give you some virtual money.
Chain. You go over there and get a new one.
I can't believe this, brother. I don't know.
Bad new chain.
Yeah, that's a bad new change. Yeah, it sure ain't new. I can tell you that. Listen, anybody want to come in and give us some feedback on this, you are more than welcome. That they say that CIG is more incompetent, and the more incompetent they are, they make more money. They making more money. And I don't know, man. I play the game, and I will admit that sometimes those stuff ain't functioning, but it ain't like somebody making me go in my wallet and give them money. You know what I'm saying? Like my parole. I mean, not my friend. I don't have to do nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? So this don't make no kind of sense where they coming from, man. But let's see what we got here. That's called the Iron Laws of Star Citizen. Let's see. We got anybody? Nobody's in the waiting room. Can you believe that? I guess nobody. Everybody.
They scared to come talk to me.
Maybe they agree. Maybe they agree with the Iron Laws of Star Citizen. I don't know. I'm okay. Well, let's go on ahead and progress on to the. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, whoa, we got somebody. Look like Pops in Space. I think he heard you, man. Pops in Space is talking about coming down here.
You trying to make some common sense?
Now listen, he was here a couple weeks ago when I was here with Special. I'll call him Special K. I was about to get my name on
Special Ed.
No. Oh man, wait till he hear you say that. He goes special on your head. Listen, I had Idris K. Idris K was here. Blackjack, and Pops, he gave Pops a hard time. Pops gave him a hard time. So let's bring Pops in and see what Pops got to say. Pops, what's happening, man?
I'm scared of the 30K, but
no, you ain't gotta be scared, brother.
You scared? 30K?
I'm scared.
You ain't gotta be scared, man. Long as you hating the right way, you're gonna be all right, man.
I'm gonna be all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what do you think about this incompetency of CIG? That they make more money from being incompetent?
Well, that's been my motto all my life. I got to fall down to get up.
Oh, there you go. I like that motto, brother. You know what?
So-
Loc-G, he fall down every week, but it ain't because he trying to do nothing, if you know what I mean. He was coming after the club. He always
You
falling
need
down.
to tell them fools over at your bar to start spiking the drinks with whatever that brand new brandy they got going on.
Man, well, at least
there.
we got brandy, man. We got something at least to spike our drinks with. I've been over to your club, man, and I ain't get no buzz or nothing, man. Matter of fact,
that
I
means I
wouldn't
need
get
to
on
fire
that
that.
subject. Yeah. So Pops, you say you live by this rule too. So are you saying that you mess up stuff so that you can make more money? Is that what you're saying, or what? I don't know what you mean when you say that's how you living, man.
But sometimes I'm just incompetent.
Yes, that's right. That's right. See,
Well, that's all right.
everybody out there.
Hey,
Just be spitting out.
I'm just telling the truth. But if CIG is incompetent, they doing great with their incompetency.
Oh, okay. So you think
They are?
CIG, if they incompetent, they doing good?
Then they're doing great with
Wow,
it.
I guess maybe that's a compliment when it comes out when it's all said and done, huh?
So people give money to people who's incompetent?
If their incompetency is that good, what is it? Their bank, like you said earlier, their bank account shows.
Well, you know
And
what?
I could be incompetent right now.
Y'all send all
Let me
y'all
be
money over to
incompetent,
Loc-G,
send all
because
y'all
if you
money
look at
over.
him, he's incompetent. Look at how he dressed. That's
That's
some
right.
incompetent
That's right.
dressing over there with Loc-G.
Competency.
So y'all go ahead and send him some AUEC. Send him AUEC, y'all. Don't send him no real money because he don't know what to do
That's
with
right.
no real money.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
see how that goes. You spent your money down there and get the. You don't know what you do with
Y'all
your
hear
money.
that
fool.
incompetent microphone? Because I didn't cut him out. That was his cheap mic that was cutting him out then. Y'all heard that incompetency going on. All right, Pops.
And before y'all 30K me,
We ain't 30K you, brother. You
Y'all ain't
talking
30K
good.
me?
No, man.
because I want to borrow y'all hats.
Oh,
for the weekend.
Oh, for the weekend. All right, brother.
For the weekend.
All right,
All
man.
right.
You can get this one for about $2 an hour from me if you want to, man. Just let me know. I'll ship it out to you this week, man. All right,
Really?
Pops. Thanks a lot for coming
Okay.
through, man. Hey, man, calm your dog down, man. What's your dog barking at Pops for, man?
No what, boy?
Man, old dog, man, tell the dog we on live, man. You got the dog over there barking like he is like he in a kennel somewhere or something, Jack. What's up with that? All right, let me get Pops on out of here, man. We got oh man, we got a new caller up in here with us, man. You wanna bring him in? Or should we go to the next question? I don't know which one we should do.
Who's up there? Who's up there?
Yeah, let's
Who
go
we
and
got
bring
up
him in.
there?
Let's bring him in. We
Bring him
got
in.
a dude
Bring him in.
called Melvillous. Now he
See if
sounds
he
like a
handled it.
player. That's a player name, Melvillous. Listen to that, Melvillous. Maybe he's marvelous, Melvillous. I don't know, man. But let's
He ain't
bring
marvelous.
Melvillous on in
He
here,
ain't
man.
spelled his name
Let's see what he
wrong.
got to see. Melvillous, are you there, man? Melvillous. What kind of player is this? Man, you're a fake player, man. Oh, man. Oh, there he is. I hear him now.
What's up to all the player
Look at this.
haters
All right, look at that.
out
Look
there
at that.
today?
All right, we
Look
got
here.
Melvillous. What's going on, man?
Look here, G-Loc. Look here, G-Loc.
I don't know. See, he got a cheap mic like you do, Loc-G.
So, huh?
Can y'all hear me today?
Oh, yeah, we can hear you now, man. Make sure
But
you
look
keep,
here, man.
keep that electricity on. We'll hear you a little longer. Go ahead,
Look-
man. What's up?
Look here, man. This is AKA hate all day.
Oh, you're a hater. You think you're a
Hate
hater?
all day.
Okay, so
Okay.
you so what you hating on? What you hating on? CIG? You got something to say about CIG? You
Look, I
hating?
got a lot to say about CIG, but I'm gonna keep it 100. I'm gonna keep it simple.
Okay.
Like this for all the haters. I'm gonna do it like this. It's called TL2U. It's called They Lied to Us.
Oh man! Now what they lie? What did CIG lie to you about,
Look,
brother?
look
What
here, man.
to
They
you about?
lied for all the freelancer lovers. They lied to us. We were supposed to get our VTOL. We didn't get it.
Oh,
So
here
I'm gonna
we
put
go
down
with
free.
that VTOL, man.
CIG was
Man,
incompetent.
why do people keep wanting this VTOL
Look,
thing?
hey, you know what? I'm gonna tell you why. Home Skillet, because they put it in the video. You see it in the video. The freelancers
Man.
VTOLing all day. Look, that's incompetent. They still got it up. They hating
Wait a
on
minute,
us.
wait a minute,
all
wait,
day.
Marvelous Melvillous, let me tell you something. When they did that Cutlass job, that Cutlass trailer, they had a woman in there, and ain't a woman in my Cutlass. So what you trying to say? What you trying to say? I don't understand. What you trying to say? I'm still waiting on my sister to be in that ride when I get to the hangar, Jack, and that's only empty every time I spawn it. So what you trying to say about VTOL? You want me
like
to
I
VTOL
said-
over my woman that I want? Man, what's up
Look,
with
like
that?
I said, TL to you. They lied to us. They put that woman in the colors. You don't got it. They put that VTOL in the freelancer. We don't have it. Hey, that's incompetent.
All right. Well, you know what?
I'm hating all day.
Loc-G, we're gonna have to do it to the brother. You know what? It's called redefined print. We gotta give him a 30K. We gotta give him a 30K. 30K. All right, Melvin, you out of here, brother. We get you out of here. We out of here. We had to get rid of that brother. He in there talking crazy, man. I don't know what talking about his freelancer. Can you talk about some VTOL, man? Brother probably can't even fly his shit.
Gotta learn how to fly, right?
All right, listen. Hey, listen, we got another person in here. I don't know if this is, I don't, we got to see who this is. Now, this is either gonna be, let me see who it's gonna be. We're gonna bring him in, and we're gonna see if this is who I think it is. It may not be, but we're gonna see if this is the person I think it is. So give me 1 second here. Let's drag him on in here. I'm gonna take a guess at who this might be, but I'm gonna let you say who this is. Who is this that just came in the room with us?
Who this?
It's Blackjack.
Oh man, Blackjack. Oh man,
Blackjack.
I was wondering. What's up, Blackjack?
K. Let me go ahead and start off, Greg. I'm sorry to interrupt y'all, but you know somebody had the nerve to sit here and talk about that I was in the short bus or the school bus or what have you. Let me go ahead and straighten that out real quick because y'all ought to know better to go ahead and use that type of slang and that type of language over here and the player hating community. You really hating now. You just upset because y'all ain't got the long locks that I got. But let me go ahead and help you out, Griff, because first I want to go ahead and help you out right there because you was having a hard time reading, but I got one spectacle, Griff. I got one spectacle for you. I'm going to take it off my good glass and I'm going to go ahead and give it to you on that one. Over that DK, brother, I got to go ahead and help you out, brother, because that brush of the beard, brother, you need to put more than brush of that beard on over there, DK. You need to put a little bit of wine with that cheese.
He gonna try to
Get smart up in here, right? Let me see. Let me check the time right here. Oh yeah, you passed your time.
Oh man. You know what? This brother come here talking some trash. You know what? You know what you got to get, Loc-G. Go on and tell him. What's it gonna be?
Oh,
what's it gonna be?
Come on. You know what, Blackjack? You do it to me. I do it to you. 30K, buddy.
Boom. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. We can't do that. Look at this brother. We gonna get him out of here.
30K.
I can't even believe that brother come on here. He Miss Week to be on the show. He gonna come pop up in here like he's somebody bad. Oh, hater. He's nothing but a hater. That's why he came up in here, because he wasn't on here this week. That's his problem.
Hate the hate.
That's right. All right, now listen. I don't know who is this we got coming up in here now. This is let me see who this is. Somebody new. I think this is somebody new. It is. We got a new person. We got a new person coming in. Ain't this a trip? All right. Okay. I know they coming in. They feeling good if they coming up in here with us. All right. What's up? This is Harrison. Is that right? Harrison?
Yeah, Harrison John.
Harrison, what's going on? Oh, Harrison, what's going on, man?
Man, I just wake up like every day, go to Spectrum. I was taking a look on the current thing. I don't watch any video. I don't read anything on Comlink. I just see the current thing and make hate against this current thing.
I like that. Uninformed hater is a better hater than you can get. Uninformed. Hate.
Exactly.
All right.
Hey.
All right.
Man, I have more things to tell to you.
Yes.
I need to throw some truths here.
Okay.
That's it. Instead of making this show, we all should be there on Spectrum making hate posts. That's it.
You know what?
They need a hate forum.
You know what, Harrison? We're gonna get you on the show because you sound like the type of person we need to have on the show. Would you be willing to come on as a hater?
Yeah, man.
All right. We're gonna set that up, man, because this brother sound like a true hater. He don't know what he's talking about. He don't read nothing, and he hates. It don't get no better than that.
That's right.
It don't get no better than that. Harrison, all right, man, we're going to book you in, man. We're going to make sure our agent contacts you. Or Griff, one of them guys going to contact you. We're going to have you on within the next couple of weeks. Is that down? You down for that?
But I have a condition.
I
need to use hats and chains and, that's things you are using. Like...
You mean to tell me you a hater and you ain't got no gold?
I need to hate with style.
Oh, you think he got style? What you got for lure?
I don't know what he got, man. It sounds like he broke. Is what it sounds like to me. I don't know if this brother true hater.
Family Dollar got a sale going on.
There you go, man. Amazon.
99 cents.
Prime 2-day delivery, brother. That's all you got to do. All right, just hit it up. All right, Harrison, we're gonna let you go, man. All right, well, that Harrison cat, he sounded kind of cool, but I don't know. We got to talk with him, man. I don't know if he got it together yet. He had me for a second, but then he say he ain't got no hater garments, man. How you gonna hate? If you can't dress the part, how you gonna? All right, we gonna move on, man. Let's get to this next question because we got it, man. This show going too long already. All right, so here's the next one, man. Now this one kind of blew me away. All right, because the title alone messed my head up. It says, "Are you not subsumed?" Have you ever heard of that? Subsumed.
Are
like
you not?
He trying to make up another word. I guess around that word that Tony AZL, whatever his name is, subsumption, whatever that thing is he talk about. So
something.
Yeah, something. That's it. So this is what he said. All right, he said, now check this out. This obsession with bartenders and baristas is very strange. Who gives a flying F whether or not the bartender can mix drinks? And why would anyone want to spend time drinking imaginary alcohol in a video game? And G-Loc, that's all he do be drinking because he can't afford to buy none. An imaginary drink. All right, but Loc-G rather. All right, so this is, listen, I can't read this word. Look, these glasses are horrible. It's 2951, and the human race has colonized space, but can't make a machine that mixes cocktails and serves espresso. Oh yeah, immersion, right? They said this game is a train wreck. That's what they got to say. So, you know, talk to me about this question here. Who cares whether or not the bartender can mix a drink? And why would you want to spend time drinking an imaginary game? Why would you do that? I mean, I'm at the bar here. Well, actually, I am at a bar. When you look in the background, I'm over here at Wally's. But yeah, man, you got any thoughts on this one?
Man, who gives a fly whatever what you about mix a drink? I like my mixed drinks, and maybe I don't like my mixed drinks. But I hate you for even asking the question, fool. That's all that.
No, the question is, do you like imaginary mixed drinks? Because you ain't got to pay for them.
Man, he imagining a whole lot of things.
I don't know, man. To me, sound like the brother maybe don't have no imagination as far as I'm concerned. But I don't know
what he's thinking over there.
I ain't trying to hate on the brother, but yes, I am. I don't know. Listen,
obviously he ain't drinking the coffee.
Well, yeah. Listen, we bringing in another person here. We got Fist to Face, the brother Fist to Face. I think he came last time. What's going on, man?
I'm good. How y'all doing in here?
The question of the moment is: are you subsumed? And do you care whether or not a bartender or a barista can make barista? That's that fancy word, barista. I like the way that sounds, barista. They got them over there. What's that old high-end coffee joint? Starbucks. Yeah. So
is that one on Earth?
The one on Earth. Okay. Well, no, I ain't going over there, man. I ain't
going over there,
man. I ain't crazy. So Fist, talk to us, man. Are you subsumed? What's the scoop, man?
I have no idea what that means. This brother sound like he better play hater than y'all, because when I understand the criteria is you can't read, speak, or spell.
Wait a minute. This brother said that he a better player hater than us?
You can't be no player hater.
That Loc-G's dog is even barking at you for even implying the fact that they are greater haters than we are. Now this brother here sound like he ain't got no imagination, but he ain't no hater. I mean, he ain't no hater like on our level of hate, man. That's that's almost an insult. Man, what do we do? What do we people who come in here and insult us, Loc-G? What happens to them?
Guess what? Guess what's coming for you?
What's happening?
30K, baby.
Boom, 30K. The brother gets the 30K, man. Oh, man, we got to bust him out of here. Oh, man, I can't believe that brother going to come in here and hate on us talking about that guy's a better hater than we are, man. Look at how we dress. Man, what are you talking about, man? Come in that small
I bet he ain't got nothing that looking like this. Look at this. Come on, man.
Well, listen, brother. Listen, we need to go ahead and I'm gonna open up the floor for one more thing here. We're gonna do Ask a Player. Ask a Player. Now we're gonna get one lucky person, and mind you, you lucky if you get to come up in here. One lucky person who can come in and ask the players anything you want to ask. It ain't gotta be none of these old silly questions off of Reddit or Spectrum, because I don't know, man. I hate all that stuff anyway. But if you want to come talk to us real quick and throw us something, this is your moment. If you don't want to, we understand. If you're scared, it ain't no problem. You know, but if you're a true hater, you can step into the Discord right now. All you gotta do is click on that link, come on in and talk to us, and you can do Ask a Player. Let me ask you a question, player. I'm gonna ask you a question. Now, every year, a ship comes out. We got Invictus coming up in a couple weeks, right? Every year, everybody said, I ain't spending no money on CIG. I ain't opening my wallet up no more. I'm asking a player. Is that the way a player should live, or does a player do what a player wants to do?
Man, them fools don't understand. Players do players. Wait,
slow down, brother. You said players do players. I don't know if I like the way that sounds, man.
You know what I mean?
Nah, man, you better be careful what you say, man. People might think, something going on, man. I ain't doing you, man. I just want to play. All right, so you saying players be players? Is that what you're trying to say?
That's right.
Doing a player.
Player the player.
I ain't doing no players, Jack.
That means I ain't spending no money on no CIG.
What?
But I'm gonna send them some money because Loc-G need his whole bar. I'm gonna get my place back.
All right.
So I'll send them a little bit of. Couple dollars.
A couple dollars.
That's all.
$2. What ship you gonna get with a couple dollars, man?
They gonna give me a ship, man.
Man, listen, brother. Here,
because I hate on them.
Listen, y'all.
I got this far.
Listen, don't y'all listen. This is the only type of money this brother got.
I got two of them.
This is the only type he got right here. That's the only type of this
I
brother.
Got two of them.
He got this type of. That's the only type of dollar that brother got over there.
Man,
y'all.
you be wiping something with that money you got right there.
Oh, here we go. All right, listen. We're gonna wrap it up. Thank you for that, hitting that, and thank you for all those people who decided to come in. We appreciate y'all. We're gonna talk about what's coming up this week. Griffin asks us always to close out the show, so we want to hit y'all. Wait, what you drinking, man? Man, how you gonna drink, man?
What am I trying?
Man, old little shot glass, man. You supposed to, man. You must be a hater.
Well, this is how players do it.
You got the okay. Well, yours is gold.
You got that. You got that. That's gold. Watch. All
right, listen.
Oh,
ain't this a trip? Oh man. All right, so listen. Tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, the Soul Citizens are going to be back, and they're going to be going into their series called Shipyard, and they're going to be covering Consolidated Outland. Those of you who are into ships like the what they got, that Mustang, they got that Ford, the Thunderbird, they got what else they got, Thunderbird. But anyway, y'all know what ships they got. They got that no clad or something like that, and then they got the Pilgrim, that ship that puts down bases and stuff. They got the Pilgrim. So they go.
I be talking about no pilgrims, man.
Oh, you right.
I heard about what the pilgrims did.
All right, man, my fault. Yeah, well, they got all these cool ships. Y'all can come tomorrow. They're gonna be talking about them. They're gonna be showing you pictures. They're gonna be talking about that dude Silas, whatever his name is, who started it. That dude who sounded like Matthew McConaughey. They're gonna have him on. They're gonna be talking about him too. So that's tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So y'all come on and drop by. For those of you who came today, we saw some. I want to give some shout outs to people like Mad Style. Some shout outs. Man, there's so many cool people.
Y'all some cool cats out there.
I know y'all like this part better because that part with Griffin Dark Knight, they boring. But this part of the show is the part that we know is gonna really blow up. So yeah, we appreciate you all being here, for all the chatter, those who came in and shared their thoughts, and hopefully we'll see you guys. Well, y'all gonna see us for a little while because they only let us come on every couple of weeks. But anyway, DK.
I hate them for that.
What? Yeah. Well, listen.
Hey.
Loc-G. We gonna sign off. Listen, we're gonna get out of here. Let y'all have the rest of y'all day. Y'all, we're gonna let Loc-G go so he can wash his neck so that gold don't come off. And we're gonna see y'all we're gonna see y'all real soon. Y'all take care of yourself. And as Griffin always tell back in the day, peace, love, and soul. We out of here. Peace. Hate.